Good afternoon. This is Amber Leach with State Construction, School Facilities, and School Facilities. Today is the State Agencies Facility Plan 2019 training webinar. Today's agenda will go through a quick intros here, a little bit of history, the facility plan and documents, and then thank you for working with us on this. Again, if you have any questions during the facility plan time, you can contact me, Amber Leach at State Construction, amber.leach@wyo.gov, or 777-5946 is my contact information if we haven't visited before. Go ahead.
Billy Holmes, State Construction Department, Construction Management Division, and representing the Department of Health.
Mel Muldrow, Administrator for Construction Management Division side of State Construction.
Raj Dami, I'm the accounting analyst. I help these guys with anything related to the AIM database.
Troy Decker, Planning. Jim Chaffett, Project Manager, State Construction.
Thank you, guys. So, as you all know, State Construction and School Facilities merged about 3 years ago. On the school facility side, we were able to do and work a process of facility planning with all the districts, and we are integrating that on the agency side as well. And a few of you have participated in the facility plan in the last 3 years, and you know that this process, the facility plans themselves are public records that can be pulled up by the governor's office or legislators, so this document can be seen by others than just our agency and yourselves. Our process right now is that we do have a pre-meeting and a final review and the actual facility plan meeting with everyone around. I do thank you guys in advance for scheduling with me and being able to set up that structure. The purpose of the pre-meeting is to work one-on-one with you guys to allow you to have the opportunity to answer questions or ask questions that are specific to your agency and work through the documents. Now, by the final review, that's when all information from the agency is due. This allows us on that final review meeting to go over information specific and make sure that we have completed it all. And that last week, it allows our project managers here at Construction Management as well as the planning staff to review your information, see the subjects that you would like to discuss during the facility plan meeting itself. That's why I encourage that during your time working through the facility plan template is to mention the topics that you want and bring that to the table so that we can have the information prepared for that actual facility plan meeting that we will have everybody around the table. During that main facility plan meeting, we will be taking notes and capturing notes during that discussion time. So those of you that have never been through our process, you will have the opportunity, if you go into AIM, is our system here that we work through. And with AIM, if you have not received a login and password, you can go to State Construction, go into the construction management side. You're going to go up into where we call AIM. That is our database. It's considered AssetWorks. You can request your form and get a login and password once you choose your department and go from there. It will be emailed back to you. Once you get that password and your user ID, you'll go ahead and log in. And as you see here, we have our report list and different reports. Specifically, the main ones that we use are for our facility planning is the facility plan report and the property building profiles. If you go into your facility plan report, go ahead and go down to what your agency is and the year facility plan 19. As you can see, you have the previous 2 years of facility plans accessible, and I do advise you to go ahead and look at those past years. If information is still relevant, you're welcome to copy and paste and bring it forward to this year's plan. Go ahead and select the facility plan 2019, and as you see here, we've used A&I as our example for this year. You will see all the reports listed here to the right-hand side. I call this kind of the title page. You can see everything that's uploaded. Quick lesson on this is go ahead and check mark here. You'll go into related documents on the left-hand side and click here, and you will see the reports again to check into. You'll also see that all of these spreadsheets, we also have a form for the IBARs here as well when you have a capital project that you need to submit for budgeting and other information. Now, go ahead and we're going to get into the facility template example. And to check it out, once you click on it, the left-hand side you'll see check out. You click check out, you say yes. You're going to click review, and what it does is it drops it to the bottom. Once that opens up, you can drag it to your desktop or a file that you're using. As you can see, it's now checked out in my name. I've already got it pulled up for us to go through. As you'll see, these will be pre-populated to the best of my ability to get us started this year. We'll have our pre-meeting listed there. We also have the final review and the actual facility plan meeting. You can click the box indicating if you're going to be in person or video conference, and it's also allowing us to have those that may not be able to travel can do video conference, and maybe someone that is still in town, they could be in person. Now, we did pre-populate names down here. If the person is not going to attend, you can go ahead and take their name off, or if there's someone else working in their place, or you have someone that is job shadowing to learn the process, please add their names in advance, and it does help us know who is going and speeds up the process. The first thing we talk about is land, and what we have here is land acquisition or land disposition. And in this area here is where you would type your notes from your agency or entity, and you can bring up things from the past that you want to talk about, what is currently going on at this time. You can talk about what you're working on in the future, or potential ideas if you want to bring them up to the group. The next section you will see here is property profiles, and this comes straight out of our AIM database. This is the information that we bring in. It will show the building number. It will also show it's active, the information on the address, and what the year is it's built, and then the square footage for gross. If you ever see information that is incorrect and you know that it needs to be changed, please contact me. We're working on an AIM update form for information for the state construction side, but at this time just go ahead and email me and we'll work from there to get it corrected. Okay. Asset impairment is the next section we talk about, and the state auditor's office requires us to report any buildings with physical damages that restrict occupancy in a position of a building or as the building as a whole due to significant or unexpected damages. If you do have a building that's impaired, please go ahead and check mark the box indicating that. If you have several buildings, you can list the building number, the name, and then describe what's going on in that section. The next thing we talk about is the space adequate, and we talk about yes or no. And then we just talk about the space. Here is an example of office space that you should have for your employees within the state. The next section we get into is condition. And what we have here is a graphic talking about our condition scores throughout the state that we have went and done assessments back in 2016 on many of the buildings to score them. And as the buildings mature in age on different components, this will affect the life or the score that is the facility condition index score. And with the facility condition index score, as time goes on, a building depreciates and ages, and that building score will expand. But if we are taking care of our buildings correctly with preventative maintenance and major maintenance, we can use that building a lot longer. With that, we have this section here, and this is like what we had from the previous year. And if you would like to cut and paste what you brought forward in describing your program, you're welcome to do so here. And then describe a little bit more about your program in these sections. And you can also have a different combination on some of these.
Mel, do you want to say anything more about that one?
Um,
With regard to interest from legislators,
Yeah.
legislators at times?
Yeah, let me just make a comment on that. Just to reiterate what Amber is saying about the changes in there, or the things that are there. Just remember that the focus really has been the last two sessions, especially this last one. We continue to see a lot of discussion with joint appropriations regarding the maintenance of our buildings. It's really getting harder to justify new buildings. They're paying a lot of attention to what we're spending on major maintenance. We even had a conversation this year about routine maintenance, and that we might be pushing out new standards for routine maintenance. Now, that particular bill did not make it through the session, but I would tell you it did garner enough interest that from the State Building Commission side, we may start heading down that path a little bit more into having a bigger role in how agencies do their routine maintenance. So I throw that out there just to say that a lot of folks are looking at it, including State Building Commission and legislators, and so don't be surprised if you see State Construction Department starting to have some dialogue with state agencies about routine maintenance. So I'll leave it like that. Thank you.
All right. So with condition we talk about also previous appropriation projects here, and we just used this as a sample from last year, and we'll talk about the projects that are outstanding and where you stand on it, and then work with the project managers on the status of those projects and if we're ready to wrap those projects up. So the next thing we bring in, and this is also a full spreadsheet in AIM uploaded for you, but we will cut and paste what is relevant to your agency. This is our FCI list. This is the condition index list. This is done in 2016 was our last condition assessment. By state statute for the state agencies, we do an assessment every 5 years, so there will be one coming up here. That the agencies will be, the State Department will go out and assess and reassess these buildings for a new score. But this is your current scores on those buildings. And as I said, those are all there. This is the next section we get into. And this is for if you were to have a capital project that you were working towards. You can indicate that you are considering a capital project, and we will work with you on your IBARs to have that narrative complete in that form. What we'll do is this is a table that you can tap into, indicate the project name, what level are we at, level 1 with feasibility, or is it a level 2 with planning, or a level 3 which is design and construction. And then also those forms will need to be uploaded in AIM once we get them completed.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
And just to make a comment, again, this is Mel, just to say, if you do have projects out there that you're working on or some that you've got as a thought in the back of your head. This is surely the time to talk about it, but make sure you're talking to one of the project managers as you're preparing this document, especially on this piece.
And as you've seen in the previous email, I will have a specific IBARS webinar just on how to fill out IBARS this Friday at 9 o'clock. We will also be recording that for your reference at a later time if you need it. With that, you will see in AIM that we do have the form itself will be uploaded. It is a template here that you can put your subject, get the request, justification, and again, this is where you work with your project managers to get the correct amount of money that you would be asking for in that project. The bottom portion, as you see, will be office only for those sections. As I said, there are instructions uploaded step by step and specifics to those, and we will go over that specifically on Friday for IBARS. Any further things on IBARS that you would like to add?
No, I think it's good.
Okay. All right. And then again, like Mel said, and I do encourage, is if it's something you're just thinking about, please bring it up so that we can have the opportunity to work with you properly and not miss a window of opportunity going forward. The next section we get into major maintenance. The one thing we wanted to make sure is that you had, we previously in the year and last fall had been communicating to work on space categorization. And we want to make sure that you would have been able to look at those categories and communicate back with your project manager and our department if there was any changes. Again, go ahead and check the mark box, yes or no. Just to make sure that I'm explaining what this is, you were to receive a spreadsheet that gave you your actual buildings with a breakdown of rooms. And then there was a major maintenance category, and if that was incorrect, you were able to represent any kind of changes and communicate those so that we could appropriately assign the right category to that room, which is what runs up your major maintenance payment later. Just an example on categories. These are the 7 listed categories that could be assigned to those rooms during that time. Okay. Any questions on that?
You know, you've got health in there, so
Yeah.
separate for you.
Billy here has health, and they have a special category for themselves on the side. But this is the general categories for all agencies. So as long as you have communicated back that you had changes or did not have changes, then we're good to go. If you are still having questions, please contact myself or Raj Dami. He's working on that project with the project managers as well. You'll see the next portion is called low condition scores. Again, this spreadsheet itself is uploaded in its entirety. It has several sorts on it for you. This is what you will probably want to open up and use for when you have your major maintenance requests. As you can see here, you can sort by your building, by the agency, and then this system score, as you see here, indicates the ranking of the component that is. You can also click on notes and recommendations, and as you see up here on your formula line, you'll be able to read the note in its entirety so that you understand what was observed for that component and why the score is what it is. And this is important because when you get down here to your major maintenance requests, you have a spreadsheet that is uploaded that will ask you your building name, building number, and then it also asks you what the score was on that component specifically that you were working on. And you can also give priorities of what your agency feels that these components should be taken care of. Also, you can type in a description of what is the project, and then a estimated amount for what that project is. And that should be also talked and work with your project manager to come up with those numbers. And as you see here, again, you can type your number in, you can pull the condition score on that element, and then type in your project. Once this is completed, last year, once we had all the information compiled, I was able to cut and paste the list of your projects into your facility plan for an end result for everybody to view as a finished product. Again, you can also discuss any other items in your notes section here. One thing I forgot to say is during the actual facility plan, you'll see the state construction notes. This is where we capture the notes during the facility plan itself while we are having discussion. The very last unit here is unique issues, ideas, and concerns. We leave this here is an open forum, so if it wasn't talked about in a previous section, you're able to discuss those points here. Once we are complete and all the notes are captured from that day and we've proofread and had everything said, what we will do is send this out in DocuSign for electronic signature with your agency and also ours. Then the signed copy will be uploaded in AIM as a recorded copy for us and history. That completes what the facility plan is covering for this year. Is there any comments on this?
I don't see any questions at this point.
Do you have any finishing comments?
Let me ask Jim. Jim, any comments on major maintenance?
I'd just like to reiterate what Amber said. On your lowest condition score, sometimes we all know that some of those items aren't worth putting money into, but we want to take care of the worst condition items first. However, if you've got something that shows a bad condition report and it's not something that you use or need, maybe it's a good idea to skip over that. But again, you can talk with your project manager about that, those type of issues.
And on the scoring system, 1 is a failure, 5 would be an excellent condition, so that you know kind of how the scale rank is. Again, on your project, you would sign, if you had, say, redoing windows for the Barrett building, you would look up the Barrett building and look up in the low condition under, and I'll change it, it's not the Barrett building we're using the historical governor's mansion since it's at the top of the list. You would go ahead and say you have your window project, you know it's a 1 as a score. You could bring any of the comments in that you want to, or specifically what your comments are. If you've already scoped the project and know what the budget for what that replacement or restoration would be, then you could also bring that back into your spreadsheet with the examples.
Are you guys, on the CM side, are you guys requiring requested amounts, specific requested amounts?
Yeah, it can just be a budget number. It doesn't have to be absolute.
Okay.
But if they've been thinking about it ahead of time, and that's a great point, Troy. If you as agencies have been looking at these with your facility managers, you should have a sense of what you think that cost should be. If it's a last minute thing, I would tell you don't overestimate, because remember, you've got a limited amount of major maintenance money, and for most people, you have more need than you have money. So be careful about how you put your amounts down. Try to be as accurate as you can, but it doesn't have to be an absolute. Just something close to that number.
Any other comments?
No.
This was a quick version of what we will be going through for your facility planning. Again, I will be uploading your facility plans prior to your facility plan pre-meeting. And again, that will be tailored to your guys' experience. If you've been down this road and don't have very many questions, we can go quite quickly, but at the same time, if you're new, I can take time and show you AIM and work through a little bit of a training session to get you acquainted with that information. And I'm also here to refresh, since some of you, this is the only time of year that you get to use AIM, and we can work through those problems or issues that you have. Anything else from anybody? Okay. Seeing that there's no questions, we're going to go ahead and sign off. If anybody had any questions in the group, go ahead and raise your hand quickly. All right, seeing no questions, we're going to sign off and look forward to working with you guys. Thank you.
Send Terry a note and say, Terry, please, goodness, really do.